And we're back! Hello there friend, welcome back to Max's Writer's Life Vlogs, where I talk about my own process, whatever that I've been up to, as well as offering writing advice and inspiration along the way. Today, I've got a meaty writing update of my own, what I've been up to, what I've been doing this past week, as well as talking about a very interesting subject today. Today we'll be talking about the idea of my personal, patented story idea test. How do you know that a story is good enough to write? Let's find out together, so let's take it from the top. So as for me, what have I been up to? Well, spoilers, I've been writing! I've been doing lots of writing, and I've also been updating on Twitter. If you want to follow my updates, follow me on Twitter, at Mr. Kirin. I say that every week. I know. It's really because if you want to get my updates, you'll get them there. I also talk about writing advice and stuff. And I answer questions. It was really fun. I can tell that I'm in there. I'm in the jungle, and I'm just traversing through unknown terrain, mapping things as I go, taking note of the things I come across. You know, the act of writing. It's been really fun. This new story is something entirely unlike anything else I've done before. Primarily because it's going to be a long project. A long project, which will explain my next point in my update. But it's going to be a long project. It's going to be a done book, which is not something that I've done in a long while, so I'm excited to do that. And the tone is a lot more different. It's a lot more easygoing, happy, which keeps me on the edge, because I'm ready for, like, at any moment this happy story could become incredibly sad. But anyhow, it's been fun. It's been really fun to write. Aside from that, realizing that this project is going to take a long time, and in order to keep myself refreshed so I don't burn out, I picked up a side project that I've been meaning to do forever. And it's one of those things where, like, if there's something you want to do, and you've been looking forward to doing it, you should probably get working on that. So I started development on a visual novel. It's a project that I've been wanting to do forever. It's not going to be a whole thing, because I have to put myself through the entire process. So I'm going to make a demo. I'm going to make a demo of a really cool idea that I got. Really cool, interesting concept. The writing is going to be mine. Like, I'm not worried about the writing or the coding at all, because the writing, I know, and the coding you can learn. Doodling is going to be the problem for me. I did some character doodles, and I don't have the heart to show them because I'm not a really good doodler. The fact that I'm using the word doodle as opposed to drawing or sketching or arting should show you how insecure I am with my drawing skills, but you know, that's going to be life. The art assets are not going to be very good for this game, but it's all about seeing the process through. There's a visual novel I want to do with Plaguesworth. There's a visual novel I want to do with Kitty. You know, so I gotta get myself in there. Like, these two, like someone here has to get the experience of how to do a freaking visual novel. But anyways, that's been my week. Writing, working on this visual novel, juggling these two projects actually feels nice for me because it's not like formal writing. Because there's going to be a lot of coding and a lot of drawing and character sketching and sorting out the events, all of that fun visual novel-y stuff. Before I go on to the proper update, there's one thing I want to cover really quickly, and that is that writing, much like everything else, is a discipline. Remember that when you go into writing, or if it's a long time, if it's been years since the last time you wrote, please don't be hard on yourself. Keep pushing through. Writing is a discipline. You gotta get better at it by doing it, and doing it lots. Also remember that, like, writing and life in general is not really a contest or a game where, like, if you fail once, you're out. Get up, keep trying, keep doing your thing, keep pushing forward, okay? Get back in there. So, it is time for the subject of the day, the story idea test. Why am I going to be talking about this really old post that I made a long time ago on the blog? Well, I got a question recently, and it's one of those questions that I get all the time. Like, I literally, on Tumblr, I get this question like nearly every other day, and it's like somebody being like, yo Max, here's my story idea, what do you think about it? And generally I reply with a link to the following post. But before anything, let's take it from the top. What did the question generally look like, Max? Well, the question that I got this time around looked a little bit like this. How do you know if a story idea is good enough to write? And to that, I have one very particular answer, and I like to call it my patented story idea test. A test that will help you decipher, come to the conclusion of whether or not this story idea is worth your while, if it's good enough for you. Now, I want you to play along. Play along with me if you have a story idea you've been meaning to work on, or a story idea that just came to you in the act of just living, which is usually where we find stories. The stories are around us everywhere. Flip over a rock, there's a story idea right there, maybe two if you are lucky. Anyway, let's stick it from the top. the story idea test. Follow along with me, okay? Welcome to the story idea test. We will be testing the potential of your story through a set of true and false statements. Answer each question by circling the choice you believe is correct. Feel free, by the way, to pause in case that you need to, stop and consider your thoughts. But remember that you should probably go with your gut instinct. Question number 1. The prospect of writing this story idea excites me. True or false? Question number 2. I believe this story idea would be really fun to write. And last but by no means least, the final question. Question number 3. I cannot wait to start writing this story idea. True or false? 3 really simple questions with relatively simple answers, but what do all of these mean? If you answered true to all the statements above, then you have a story idea worth of your time. If you answered false to any of the statements, consider revising the idea as well as your personal reasons for wishing to spend your time with this project. Alright, so there are a series of questions that people usually throw in my direction after they see something like this. It's something along the lines of, "But Max, you haven't even heard what my story's about." Or, "But Max, I think this story has been done thousands upon thousands of times throughout the history of humanity." And none of that actually matters. You know why? As I've said in the past, writing a book takes a really, really long time. Unless you're a maniac, like some people I know, you won't be writing these books relatively quickly. It's gonna take a long while. So, why? Why would you spend your time writing a story that doesn't excite you, that doesn't seem fun, and that doesn't pull you to start writing it? I personally really like the story idea test because it gets down to the nitty-gritty core of things, especially if you've found a story idea that you think is good because it could be seen as popular or because it could appeal to a particular niche, as opposed to things such as, do I want to write it? Does it seem fun? Because the thing is this, and I've said this in the past, and you may have heard it in another Q&A, but the harsh reality is this. I've met tons of writers through creative writing courses, and I've met, I don't want to say hundreds, because that seems a bit of an exaggeration. Let's say about 50 people. Individual people who all showed up with story ideas that they thought would get them published because they looked at metrics and they looked at demographics and they thought, you know what, this cross section right here is gold. I want to start mining it. And you know what they did? Well, definitely not finish that book because it wasn't exciting. And instead of pushing themselves through the little breadcrumb trail that is to write and to follow the story step by step, they just kind of focused on, I want to get to the whole getting published thing, so I'm going to create something that echoes that, so kind of feeding to the market. And honestly, that is the most exciting thing in the world. And you can tell, and I don't have to tell you, because those people didn't finish those books. And they found other shiny new ideas that could possibly be the start of their career as a published author. And the cycle goes on and on and on and on. You're better off picking something that you enjoy, something that seems exciting to you, something that you get up in the morning and go, you know what? I want to write this story. You know what? This story is fun. This story is something that makes me happy. And even just the act itself of writing it is fun for me. And I know that it sounds a little bit sappy, but I honestly believe it. In my heart, I believe it to be true because you can finish a story you don't like. If you try real hard, like those people didn't, you can finish it, but you're not going to revise it. You're going to read it weeks later, hopefully weeks later after you wrote it, and you're going to realize, I don't care about this story. I didn't care about it when writing it, and I certainly don't care about it now. So people forget that writing is not only the act of writing the book, but also revising it and pushing it all the way through release. You're not gonna get through the writing. Forget revision if you're not having fun. If you don't enjoy the story, if you don't have an emotional attachment to it outside of what it could possibly get you. So, once again in summary, how do you know if a story is good enough to write? Well, does it excite you? Do you really want to write it? Can you not wait to write it anymore? Then jump in. I've said it in the past, I must say it one more time. You can tell when someone is having fun writing. You can tell on the page when a writer was just enjoying the process. Be that sort of writer. Pick something that is exciting to you and tell that story. Tell it truthfully, without doubt, without hesitation, without fear. Tell it as truly as you can, and have fun. Please, please, please. Have fun. It's the only way you're gonna finish stories, okay? Okay. And that's about it for today's episode. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that if anything, I showed you another point of view. For the time being, I would like to hear how your week has been going. Have you been writing? Have you been reading anything? Yes, I am casually probing for book recommendations, because I'm about to relatively soon get back into reading stuff. I played a lot of games, and I'm finishing another game right now for the Finish It Challenge. Shh, it's a secret. But anyways, yeah, I'm looking for book recommendations, so if you have anything, throw it at me. I read everything, so don't even be like, but Max, this book may not appeal to you. I'm like, I read everything. No, but seriously, though, I read everything. Anyway, still on the side of the way, if you have any questions that you would like to send my way, that you would like me to maybe possibly answer in a future video, let me know in the comments down below. Today's question was sent by a viewer just like you, so don't forget to leave your questions. But anyhow, I gotta get going. I gotta get a move on. There's lots of writing to be done and joy to be had. So for the time being, again, thank you for watching. Thank you for spending a little bit of your day with me, and I'll see you on the next one.